The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's webinar with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. I'd like to start by welcoming our coaching members to Coaching Session 2. And we've got a fantastic topic, as you should all know. What we're going to be talking about is selecting your target market and your unique selling proposition. And we're going to get in-depth on all of the various kinds of USPs that you can be implementing right now. And there may be a lot of you that are thinking that a unique selling proposition automatically means a guarantee, maybe the guaranteed sale program. Well, a guarantee is simply one kind of USP. And we're going to show you that, well, number one, there are lots of different guarantees that you can use, but also there are other kinds of USPs that are every bit as effective that you can implement right now. And it doesn't matter if you're brand new to the business, doesn't matter whether you're a veteran of the business, whether you have money or you don't. These USPs can be applied into your business right now. And Craig and I are going to be going into depth and exploring all of those various unique selling propositions on today's call. Now, we're very excited to have you on our webinar here, and we really look forward to your participating in our Q&A session towards the later part of today's webinar. So having said that, again, for those of you that may have just joined us, we're talking about selecting your target market and who it is that we want to attract and how we set ourselves apart by creating a unique selling proposition. Those are our topics for today's webinar. It's going to be a good one. We'll look forward to your participating in the Q&A, and at this time, I'd like to turn the call over to Craig. So Craig, let's get started.
Well, thanks a lot, James. Well said. Today, let's begin with the topic of selecting your target market. You know, if you ask most real estate agents who they're specifically targeting with their marketing, they kind of give you a blank look. They usually say that they're pretty much after anybody and everybody. Well, I want to talk to you about why that's not a good strategy. And it's very important that you do have marketing strategy, that our marketing decisions are based on logic and science versus subjective decisions, which are often the result in financial ruin. And I want you to think about other businesses outside of real estate. Let's take a look at McDonald's, for example. If McDonald's was considering opening a restaurant in your city, they would do some careful research before they made that decision to make sure that the community, that the location could support the restaurant. Well, you know, you and I also have access to similar information called MLS. We are in one of the most documented industries in the world, and we need to start taking advantage of all of this great information that's at our fingertips on MLS. I want to talk to you about how to do that on today's webinar. We also want to look at our own personal situation when it comes to deciding who we're going to target with our marketing. Okay, it's very important for us to understand that we can't be everything to everybody. Okay, you don't have the resources that Coca-Cola has. We can't afford to be everything to everybody, so we have to shrink our marketplace. And you may remember that we did talk about this at this super conference, this idea of shrinking your marketplace. So you need to have an honest look at your present situation and at your resources. For example, let's say that you're fairly new in the real estate business, and you don't have a lot of experience, and you don't have a lot of money. Well, obviously then, you shouldn't be targeting luxury home sellers. You know, you don't have the credibility and you don't have the money to market their properties. And it would take you perhaps months and months and months to get paid on those transactions. And for most of you, you can't wait that long. If you need to make some now money, that strategy wouldn't make sense at all. Instead, what you should be doing is targeting first-time buyers and sellers. And it shouldn't be a situation where you're just throwing a dart at the wall and saying, okay, who is it that I'm going to target? And although, you know, it would be great if you absolutely loved your target market, and eventually you do want to gravitate to people that you really enjoy working with, but right now, you might have to do what you need to do, not necessarily what you love to do to make this business work for you. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, most real estate agents let their target market select them. Okay, they don't choose their target market. They let their target market select them. And you know what? I was no different. Let me explain. You see, when I started in real estate 20 years ago, you want to know how I selected my target market? I got my first listing in the London Road area, so that then became my farm area. Now think about it. I could have gotten my first listing anywhere, but because I got my first listing in that particular neighborhood, that became my farm area. And that's the area that I worked for years and years and years. Now, you may say, well, gee, Craig, things worked out pretty well for you, so what's wrong with that approach? Well, face it, I got lucky. But you shouldn't build a business based on luck. A lot of real estate agents do that. They sort of, they get their first listing by mistake, and then that becomes their target market. Okay, that is not a scientific approach. You should be using logic and science when it comes to selecting who you're going to be talking to with your marketing and who you're not going to be talking to. So I'd like to begin by having you write down a couple of notes here. So if you'll grab a pen, I'm going to give you some things to consider when you start to think about who it is that you should be targeting with your marketing, keeping in mind that you can't be everything to everybody. Okay, so please grab your pen. Here's the list that I'd like you to write down. Number one, who should I want to target? Okay, number two, what do they want? Number three, how are you going to give them what they want? How are you going to give that to them? Okay, so who do I want to work with based on your own personal situation and the research that you've done? That's number one. Number two, what do these people want? And number three, how are we going to give them what they want? If you ask most real estate agents who they're trying to target with their marketing efforts, they really don't have a good answer to that. Okay, they'll say to me, well, I'm looking for anybody or everybody in hopes of attracting somebody that wants to buy or sell a house. Okay, and that's not strategy. That's a real problem. When you're trying to be everything to everyone, you're really failing to address the specific needs of anybody. So you see a lot of real estate agents that run ads talking about themselves, or they have generic slogans like, please list with me, I care about your business. And you might fool yourself into thinking that those kinds of statements actually work. But they really don't do a very good job of attracting prospects. Okay, you must understand that if you need to make money right now, you need to be doing very specific things. And the best target, if you need to make cash right away, is to target first-time buyers. Okay, and we have ads to help you attract any type of buyer or seller that you want to work with. But if you need to make money right away, please begin by targeting first-time buyers. Also, you don't need to break the bank running expensive ads to target first-time buyers. You can start by running ads on mediums that either cost you nothing or other very inexpensive mediums. So please write this down. The mediums that I'd like you to begin with to start making money right away, if you don't have a lot of money, start with Google pay-per-click, find inexpensive local newspapers, and run classified and display ads. Okay, these are the mediums. Those are the methods of delivering your marketing message that I'd like you to begin with. Now, I did talk about this at the Super Conference, but let me repeat it. Why first-time buyers? Why are they a great target for those of you that need to make money right away? Because, first of all, first-time buyers are very easy to attract. And obviously, they've got nothing to sell. Also consider that interest rates are historically low. So buying a home in today's market is super affordable. And what I've found is that first-time buyers are also very easy to please. You take them out, you show them 3 or 4 homes, and guess what? Every house you show them is better than that dingy apartment that they're currently renting. And because they don't have a house to sell, you can close these transactions in 30 days and get paid. Because most of these people are on month to month. So you can get paid within a couple of weeks versus working with move-up buyers who already live in a pretty nice home. Think about a move-up buyer that already lives in a pretty nice home. They're going to be very picky because they already live in a pretty nice house. You might have to show them dozens and dozens of homes before they find a home that they want to make an offer on. What that means is it may take months and months and months for you to get paid. And how about this? Even when you find them the perfect home, they still have a house to sell, so your offer must be conditional on the sale of their existing home, which may or may not sell. The difference is between you getting paid in a couple weeks and getting paid months and months down the road, or maybe never. Now, some of you on the webinar here today may feel that, well, this doesn't apply to me, Craig, because I'm already making good money. I'm already doing well. Hey, look, don't ignore this strategy. Even if you're already doing well, this is still a great strategy. I mean, who on our webinar here today doesn't want to make money right away? So you're going to all want to target first-time buyers. Whether you need money like yesterday or whether you're already doing well, first-time buyers represent a great target market, and there's not a lot of competition for first-time buyers. We have some great ads, some great campaigns that'll help you do that. And we're going to talk about the messages that you should be using to attract first-time buyers. But again, the medium that you're going to use, the way you're going to deliver that marketing message to begin with should be through Craigslist because it's free, or in inexpensive newspapers, preferably local newspapers that have free home delivery. So start with the least expensive methods of delivering your marketing message. Now, as far as the messages go, if you want to attract first-time buyers, I would recommend that you run ads like the Fixer-Upper campaign and the Distress Sale campaign and the Must Sell campaign, the ones you see on your screen right now. We've got wonderful campaigns in the marketing library to target first-time buyers. Now, if you're interested in move-up buyers, of course, we have ads as well to attract those move-up buyers, like the Upscale Homes campaign. Some of you might perceive that these campaigns aren't going to work as well for upscale home buyers, and it's not true. We have coaching members from all over the country working in completely different marketplaces, small cities, large cities, rural, it doesn't matter. We have campaigns to help you target any type of buyer or seller that you most want to attract. Okay, we have campaigns for every segment of the marketplace. But I'm specifically talking right now to those of you that need to make money right away. You should now understand what messages you should be running and how to deliver those messages to your selected target market. Next, let's have a conversation with those of you that are already doing well. Okay, for those of you that are already doing well, you don't have this dire need to make cash yesterday. Okay, you're already doing okay. I'd still like you to target first-time buyers because they do represent a great target market, even for those of you that are making good money. But I'd also like you to target move-up buyers. Here are some of the ads that you could run, okay, to attract move-up buyers. You could run the editorial style ads. For example, the 6 trade-up mistakes to avoid when moving to a larger home. Okay, obviously the only prospects that would respond to that campaign are those that already have a house. They're trading up. Or the Save Thousands campaign or the Buyer Traps campaign. All you have to do is go to the marketing library, and you're going to see a wide assortment of campaigns that target both first-time buyers and move-up buyers. And of course, if you're after sellers, let's have a look at the campaigns that we'll recommend to target sellers. The online home evaluation classified ad is an absolute jackpot. Also, the home down the street or area home sales classified ad. That's the ad that says find out what the home down the street sold for. That's another jackpot. Also, test the editorial ads like the costly home seller mistakes or the home inspection mistakes to avoid ad or set price or for sale by owner. 27 tips. I'd recommend that you go to the marketing library and you think about, well, which campaigns are going to do a really good job of targeting the type of buyer and seller that I should be targeting. Okay, again, my recommendation is you have a good look at your personal finances, your present situation, and you do the research on MLS and you look for opportunities. And by personal situation, I'm talking about both your finances and I'm talking about your experience and your credibility that you're going to have with each of these target markets. Okay, for example, if you're a brand new real estate agent, you're targeting first-time buyers, okay, you may not have a lot of experience, but guess what? Neither does the client. Okay, first-time buyers really don't know what to expect. They've never done this before. However, if you lack experience, it's probably not a great idea to target veteran home buyer and sellers. These are people that have already bought and sold real estate many, many times before. Okay, so that's another good reason for those of you that are rookies in this business to target first-time buyers. All right, the other thing I want to talk about is doing research on MLS. All right, I did a consultation recently with one of our coaching members who wanted to target high-end condominiums. Okay, he wants to work with sellers of high-end condominiums. And the reason he wanted to do this is because he likes condos. He lives in one himself. So this was his geographical farm area, the farm area that he lived in. Like I discussed a few minutes ago, this is a big mistake that a lot of us make. But here's what happened. Once we did the MLS research, what he determined is there wasn't enough turnover. There weren't enough condos selling, even if he got 100% of the market share, which is unlikely, for him to make a good living. All right, so let's not forget to do this research on MLS. Remember, any of us can do this. So before you subjectively decide who you're going to target and who you're not going to target, simply research the MLS. The MLS will tell you where the opportunity is in your marketplace. So for example, if I want to target first-time home buyers in my town, in Newmarket, I could search MLS and I would look for homes that sold last month. I'd search for the homes that sold last month, and I'd identify how many of these homes that sold were first-time buyer homes. So first-time buyer homes in my marketplace might be any home that sold for, let's say, $450,000 or less. How many homes that sold were $450,000 and less? Now, if that's a big chunk of the marketplace, what that tells me is, hey, first-time buyers would be a great target market. Now, obviously with MLS, we can't research buyers, but we can research sales. Okay, we can research the homes that have sold. Obviously, if there's a bunch of homes that have sold for $450,000 and less, what we can then conclude, obviously, is there had to be buyers for those homes. So do we want to target the sellers of those homes, or do we want to target the buyers that are buying those homes? what you do is you go to the marketing library, you pick the ad, and then you test different mediums, different methods of delivering that message to the target market. If you pay attention to the results, you're going to understand within a couple of weeks which of the ads work the best, which of the mediums work the best. And once you determine what works the best, guess what? Then you can continue to do more of that and eliminate anything that's not working well. What you're going to find is within a couple of weeks, you're going to have your marketing on autopilot. You know, that's why we call this automatic marketing. It truly is automatic marketing. You're going to test the different ads, the different campaigns. You're going to determine which ads and which methods of delivering those ads to your intended market work the best, and it's basically rinse and repeat. So I want you to give this some careful consideration. Much like I said earlier, when it comes to opening a McDonald's restaurant, they don't just throw a dart at the map and say, hey, we're going to open a restaurant here. McDonald's does a ton of research on population and trends and traffic before they decide they're going to invest in opening a brand new restaurant. Well, you and I have similar type information right on your MLS. You just need to be smart enough to use it. So there's two things I want you to do. Number one, I want you to take an honest look at your needs, your own financial situation, okay, your own personal situation. And number two, I want you to research MLS. And when you do that, you're going to understand who you should be targeting. Okay, now once you understand who you should be targeting, you're going to go to the marketing library within the coaching site, and you're going to select some ads that you're going to test. I want you to pick messages that would appeal to that piece of the market that you want to target. Now, the only other question is, what is going to be the best way to deliver that marketing message or deliver that ad to your intended piece of the market? So what are you going to do? You're going to test different mediums. I want you to test Craigslist. I want you to test running the ads in the classified section in some of your local papers. I want you to run the ads not in the classified section, but randomly peppered throughout the local paper. We call these display ads. Okay, so you can run the ads in the classified section, under homes for sale, and then outside of the classified section. Those are your least expensive methods to get started with this system, to deliver the message to your intended piece of the market. All right, next let's talk about determining what it is that your prospects want. What motivates this target group of prospects that you're after? Okay, what factors are most important to them? If they're sellers, do they want a quick sale? Do they want top dollar? Are they after the best value, the most attentive service? Do they want the least hassle? How would you find out what your prospects really want? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You ask them. Failing to understand and address what your prospects really want is one of the biggest marketing mistakes that realtors make. Rather than assuming or guessing the answer, you should be asking your prospects directly by researching their needs. And that's why I survey every buyer and seller I work with. And we're going to talk to you later in the coaching program about how to survey them. Okay, stop guessing. Survey them. Use science, use logic, and really determine what's important to them so you can do a great job of addressing their needs. Okay, next let's talk about being specific. We need to be really specific when it comes to target market. For example, targeting buyers breaks into subsets. Okay, targeting buyers breaks into subsets. There's first-time buyers, there's move-up buyers, there's luxury home buyers, there's people that only want to buy rural properties, there's people that only want to buy condominiums. So I want you to look specifically at who you're going to target. And once you've made that decision, then you must determine what it is that your target market really wants. Does that make sense? Let's determine who we ought to be working with, who we should be targeting, and then determine what it is that our target market really wants. And then we're going to give them what they want in a unique way that clearly sets you and I apart. We're going to offer prospects what they want in a unique way so they see us as different and better than our competitors. Now let's take a step back and have a look at your situation. If somebody asks you, hey, what makes you different from all the other real estate agents in town? In other words, why should I choose to buy or sell a home with you versus all the other real estate agents in town? What would you say to them? And it can't be things like, I'm honest, or I work hard, or I really want your business, because of course everyone is saying those things. You need to have a really compelling answer to this very important question. And you need to be able to articulate your answer in 60 seconds or less. What is it that makes you different and better than your competition? If I were selling my house, why would I want to do business with you versus everybody else? Most realtors run around spouting off the same old things. We're going to work hard for you. We're going to do a good job for you. I'm honest. But again, none of this sets you apart because everyone's saying the same old things. Also, I find a lot of real estate agents have a unique selling proposition that they communicate quite effectively during their one-on-one situations, like at a listing presentation. At a listing presentation, many realtors know exactly what to say to set themselves apart from the other real estate agents. However, they don't communicate their USP effectively to the masses in their marketing efforts. Let's say that I met with a seller today, and I know exactly what to say to that seller to set myself apart. And over again, when I meet with sellers to compel them to want to do business with me, I know exactly what to say. Okay, the words that come out of my mouth work. Well, think about this. If you could bottle that message and you could market that through to the masses through advertising, you'd have a great, unique selling proposition. Okay, so how many of you can relate to that? What you say when you're face-to-face with prospects works. Well, why don't you just bottle that? Whatever works in your one-on-one communications should be promoted and advertised to the masses through your advertising. So that would be a pretty good idea, right? To let the rest of the world know about what you do that makes you different and better. Okay, so what is it that you're doing to set yourself apart from all the other realtors? That's the big question, and that's what I want to talk about. It's your USP, your unique selling proposition that tells the world who you are and what you do. Your unique selling proposition clearly and concisely tells prospects what benefit or benefits they're going to derive from doing business with you instead of one of your competitors. Now, most realtors have not given this much thought. So here's some important questions that you might want to ask yourself. What distinguishes your business from your competitors? Do your listings sell faster than average? Do they sell for more money than your competitors? Do your buyers save money when they deal with you? Or do they save time? Do you have a better system to attract customers? Are you more aggressive in your marketing programs and strategies? Do you provide better service? Do you give better guarantees? Do you make it easier for people to do business with you? What is it exactly that makes you different? As you progress through the coaching program, and this might already be the case, you probably look around at what your competitors are doing to promote themselves, and you realize, or you say to yourself, they just don't get it. Because it's true, the average realtor doesn't get it. They don't have a clue about how to differentiate themselves. Everybody's saying the same old bland things, or they're saying nothing at all. Most real estate agents are wasting their money on ineffective ads that produce little or no results. So if we want to be successful, we can't do what everyone else is doing. We need to understand that this self-image advertising that every agent and every company seems to be wasting money on is not something that you can be doing if you want to be successful. And in fact, if you're still engaged in any type of image advertising, if you're still running those kinds of ads, I'm going to urge you right now to stop. Stop wasting your money on ineffective self-image advertising. Instead, let's talk about how to create a compelling, unique selling proposition. And as I get into this topic, I want to just explain to you that I'm not going to suggest that anyone run out after our webinar is over spending a whole bunch of money promoting their USP. Okay, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm not suggesting that you should run out there and start spending a lot of money promoting your USP. Not yet. Some of you, perhaps are in a financial position where you can do this, but everyone on the call can start to promote your unique selling proposition with the words that come out of your mouth. You see, the words that come out of your mouth don't cost you anything. The misconception is that when I'm talking about setting yourself apart by promoting your USP, automatically everybody assumes I'm talking about running ads. That's what people assume. Craig is saying, well, I need to start spending a lot of money running full-page ads and renting billboards and running television commercials. And although some of you are going to gravitate to that, that's not where you should start. So please understand that generating leads by promoting your unique selling proposition is definitely more expensive, or can be more expensive, than running other types of lead generators. And I've discussed the fact that your less branded advertising is always going to generate you more leads at a much lower cost than branded advertising. Okay, less branded advertising is the most effective and least expensive way to generate leads, bar none. Because prospects want information, but not necessarily do they want to go to a real estate agent to get that information, you'll always find that your less branded advertising generates you more leads at a lower cost than branded advertising. So as soon as you start to promote yourself and your unique selling proposition, understand you're going to generate less leads. You might say, well, why would I want to do that? Well, here's the argument. The argument for advertising your USP is, even though you're going to generate less leads, the leads that you generate are going to be predisposed to working with you because they already know that this information is coming from you, but they also already know what makes you different and better than your competition. Is everybody understanding this? So when you promote your USP, words do matter. I want you to consider the words that come out of your mouth when you're on the telephone with a prospect or when you're at a listing presentation. These words must create the perception amongst your prospects that you are different and better than the competition. And you're going to test different statements, different benefits. You're going to test different things that come out of your mouth, and what you're going to determine is some of them work better than others. So as you start to promote your USP, you're going to be changing the way that prospects in your marketplace think about you. And you'll compel the best prospects to contact you. Most of you on the webinar are not at the point of being able to do what I did when it comes to this kind of ongoing investment. However, for those of you right now that are wasting money on image style advertising, immediately stop. Stop running those types of ads and switch to promoting your USP. All right, to reiterate, the difference between promoting your USP and image advertising is this. You know, image advertising basically says, call me, I'm great. You know, list your home with me. Or I've got all these designations. But there's no benefit with that. And here's the difference. You see, with USP advertising, not only are you creating an awareness of who you are, attached to your identity, is a very specific and tangible benefit. So people don't only know who you are, but they also clearly understand what makes you different and better than your competition. Okay, now for those of you that are struggling for cash right now, how do you do this? Start by promoting your USP verbally. If you don't have the money to spend on newspaper advertising or online advertising, you can begin by promoting your USP with the words that come out of your mouth. When you're talking to prospects on the phone or during your face-to-face communications at a listing appointment or a buyer appointment, begin to test your different USPs. And what you're going to find is some of the words that come out of your mouth work far better than others. Those are the words you're going to continue to use until you find better words. Let's make the assumption that whatever you discover works the best during your one-on-one communications, does it make sense that is likely going to work the best when you start to multiply that message to the masses with your marketing? So if you meet with a seller and you find that a certain message, a certain unique selling proposition works better than all others, there's a very good chance that if you promoted that USP in the newspaper or online, that you'd have a very effective offer. Okay, remember, the most important question that anyone is ever going to ask you, as long as you're a real estate agent, is why should I do business with you versus all other options, including doing nothing or whatever I'm doing now? This is what every prospect you meet with or speak to on the phone is consciously or subconsciously asking themselves. Why should I do business with you above all other options, including doing nothing or whatever I'm doing now? So your unique selling proposition is going to be the essence of your entire business concept. It's the unique advantage that distinguishes your real estate business from all your competitors. Okay, so creating your USP. You might want to write these down. Number one, you need to determine what your customers want. Okay, you have to determine what they want. How can you give it to them if you don't know what they want? Number two, find out which of these needs you can fulfill. And number three, find a way to clearly state to your customers that you're the source to fulfill those needs. Now, I want to share with you 3 different types of USP platforms. Okay, so let me explain to you the difference of these 3 different types of USPs. Now, you may want to use one of these USP platforms. You're probably going to want to use all 3 of them. Let's begin by discussing unique service USPs. Okay, unique service USPs. In my marketplace, I offered unique services or programs. Okay, unique services or programs that other agents didn't offer. This made me stand out. It made me different in the mind of the buyers and sellers because I'm offering something that my competitors were not offering. When you work with a buyer or seller, here's my advice. Don't do the same old things that everyone else is doing. You want to come up with unique programs, unique services that they don't offer. So let me give you some examples. When I would meet with this seller, I would talk about my Sunday tour of homes. This is a unique program that I offer that other agents don't. And I'll explain to you the benefits of the Sunday tour of home in more detail, but I would compare my Sunday tour of homes versus what everyone else was offering, a traditional open house. I talked a little bit about this at the Super Conference. The Sunday tour of homes was an amazing listing tool. I also explained to sellers that I was going to promote their home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, using my special websites and my special recorded hotlines. And then I would go on to explain the benefits of doing this, that 3 times as many prospects, as many buyers will request information on their home when they know they don't have to speak to a real estate agent. And their home will be promoted 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not how other realtors do it, right? Other agents tell buyers, contact me. I don't do it that way. Why don't I do it that way? Well, I explain this to the seller. I'll get 3 times as many inquiries. Your home will be promoted 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the only prospects that we're going to bring through your home are people that already have the information. They've been somewhat qualified or pre-qualified because at least they have some information on your property. What does every other realtor do? They try to drag anybody and everybody through your property. Okay, so I'm using robots to automatically sift and sort the prospects and really do a good job of pre-qualifying the prospects so I know the best buyers to bring through the seller's home. Now for buyers, I have unique services for them as well. I would tell buyers about a unique buyer profile service. It's a unique service that I offer buyers that my competitors do not, where I offer to send buyers advance notification on any hot new listing that match the home buying criteria, including bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, and distress sales. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Craig, every real estate agent would be willing to email listings to buyers. Yes, that's true, but my program is different. And it's up to all of you to be able to differentiate what you do versus what everyone else does. Have you ever thought about this? Do you realize that what we sell, the houses, will never set you and I apart? It's true, isn't it? In real estate, we all sell the same thing, homes on MLS. Okay, we all sell houses, and they're all in the multiple listing service. And that's a problem, right? To a lot of realtors, they look at that, they go, oh, that's a problem, because they figure, okay, well, I guess we're all the same. What you and I sell is the same. Face it, it's the same. So please understand that what you and I sell will never set us apart. Okay, what you sell will never set you apart. It's how you sell it. It's how you do what you do that will set you apart, not what you sell. So please write this down.
Craig, you know, another interesting point, just to jump in here, talking about the daily emails and the priority access as well as proprietary information that you're offering to buyers, is that these USPs actually overlap and are applicable to both buyers and to sellers in a lot of cases. One of the things that we're going to suggest you do to attract sellers is that you build up an inventory of buyers who are getting your daily emails because they actually become a USP for your sellers.
Absolutely. That's a good point. And let me explain. We call that the buyers in waiting program. So James, if you were the seller and I'm at your home and let's say you were interviewing 2 other realtors, I would show James a printout of the over 300 buyers that I'm currently sending information to on a daily basis. And I would say, James, if you decide to list your home with me, I already have buyers in waiting. They're getting priority email notification of all the new listings that match their criteria. And I would show James the list. I would hand it to him, and I'd watch him looking through this list. And you can imagine this seller leafing through pages and pages of buyers. And, you know, we really do have these buyers that really are looking for specific properties. And the list has the buyers' names, which one of my buyer agents they're working with, how many homes they received last week, 2 weeks ago, and in total. So these buyers that we're working with actually, can you see how they actually become a tool for us to attract sellers? And it works the other way around too. So because I have unique programs in place to generate more buyers, then the fact that I have more buyers also benefits the sellers. So James, you made a very good point. And I would say this to the seller. I would say, James, if you decide to list your home with me tonight, the very first thing that I would do is I would email information on your home out to all the buyers in my database that are looking for a home like yours. And James, you know, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost like I've been looking for a buyer for your home before we even met tonight. Now, we may get a match right away. In fact, we may find multiple buyers for your home. Does that work well? You bet it does. Why? Because we know sellers want to list their home with the agent whom they perceive has all the buyers. You know, if I was selling my home, I realize I can just list my home with anybody, but I'd rather not list my home. I don't want to just list my home. I'd prefer to list my home with the realtor who I perceive already has the buyers. Well, that's your job, is to create that perception. So virtually everything you're doing in your marketing to generate buyers or sellers is a unique selling proposition. It's a service that you're providing to your buyers and your sellers. And every bit of this you can use in your presentation. And that's exactly what we're going to show you how to do.
You know, Craig, in marketing, there's an old saying, looking at it here, the more you tell, the more you sell. So if I'm trying to list your home, I'm going to bring a printout of my leads from my Success website control panel. I'm going to bring a printout from the AMS hotline. I'm going to demonstrate my marketing savvy. Here are the buyers that I've generated in the last month. Did any of the other agents you interviewed show you how many buyers they're currently working with? And of course, the answer is no. What they try to do is get them to like them, or they talk about their house, but in no way do they talk about the strategy that they're going to use, because it's very likely that, well, they don't have one.
Yep, good point. Hey, let's move on to the second USP platform. Okay, performance guarantee USPs.
Hey, Craig, before we do, you know, there's a great analogy that you use all the time, and I don't know whether you were going to, but it goes like this, essentially, in regards to your presentation, and you talked about an arsenal or weaponry, and it's kind of like, you know, you start by pulling out a handgun in your presentation, and then you pull out the bazooka, and before you know it, you're rolling the tanks in, and that's really what you can do, isn't it, with when you're armed with these USPs?
Yeah, I guess, James, what you're referring to is in my briefcase, I have many places that I could go during a listing presentation.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't have to use all of the tools, but I'm going to use them in progression. So I may be able to start out with just using a few of the tools, but I know with confidence that I can progress as needed to some of, I guess we could call it my heavy-duty artillery.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if my unique programs weren't enough to convince James to list his home, I could move up the ladder to USP platform number 2, okay, which are my performance guarantees. You know, I could say to James, well, James, another thing that I do to set myself apart from all the other agents is the fact that I'm accountable to you. I know you've interviewed a couple of other agents, you know, and I'm sure they were great, and I'm sure they told you how much they really wanted your business, and I'm sure they told you they were going to work really, really hard. But I do all those things too. But James, I will also guarantee that if I haven't sold your home in X amount of days, and you can decide what that is, what the X is, whether it's 90 days or whatever, but if I haven't sold your home in 90 days or less, I'll sell it for free. That's how confident I am that I can sell your home at this price. Or I might say this, James, if I haven't sold your home in 90 days, I'll actually pay you $1,000 cash on closing.
Or how about, Craig, if you decide to purchase a home or allow me to represent you in that purchase, and if at any time during the next 12 months you decide you don't like that property for any reason, I'll sell it for free. How's that for a buyer's side guarantee?
Yeah, we have lots of great ones for buyers as well. How about this? James, I know you've interviewed a couple of agents to represent you on the buy end, on the buy side. But James, if you commit to working with me, I guarantee to save you at least $10,000 off the list price of any home that you purchase using my services, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash on closing. Okay, these are examples of performance guarantees. And of course, the biggie that we've talked about at the Super Conference that's made me more money than any of the others is the Guaranteed Sale Program. Now, that's also the program that freaks most of you out because you immediately assume that you're going to get stuck buying a bunch of homes.
Well, it's a straight up program.
It really is. You know, the most immediate thing that you assume is that if you offer the Guaranteed Sale Program, you're going to get stuck buying a bunch of homes. And if you understand the rules, you'll understand that this is absolutely not going to happen as long as you follow the rules that you've set for yourself. Okay, if you understand the program, you have very little risk of this happening. And I'm going to conduct entire webinars on the Guaranteed Sale Program because I want you to understand the program before you immediately eliminate it. I want to help you design your rules and your guidelines. Remember, this is your program, and you can design the rules and conditions. This is a program that can make you a lot of money, especially in today's market. The prospects that are most likely going to respond to the Guaranteed Sale Program are the most motivated sellers. Would you agree with that? The most motivated sellers in the marketplace are going to respond to an ad that says, we'll sell your home, guaranteed, or we'll buy it. The most motivated sellers are the sellers that you want to attract, the people that absolutely must sell now. Now, of course, we're not buying their home or guaranteeing their home at market value. You all understand that, right? There's a buffer. I mean, just like when you buy car insurance. James, you recently bought a car. Now, if you wreck that car, okay, if you smash the car up, the insurance company is probably not going to say, okay, James, we're going to give you 100% of what you paid for the car. They're not going to do that. They're going to build in some kind of discount. And the reason that we all buy car insurance is just in case something happens. Well, consider the Guaranteed Sale Program as a special insurance program that you're offering to your sellers that nobody else is. Now, we can't offer the seller 100% of market value, but clearly what we're offering the seller is far better than what your competitors are offering them, which is nothing. So we can afford to be conservative. You can tell the home seller that owns, let's say the seller owns a home worth $400,000. If you guarantee $360,000, so 10% off of market value, and then you take off your commission because you're not going to pay yourself, so your net offer to the seller would be $339,000. Wouldn't everyone agree that that would be a pretty easy number to beat? If the house is truly worth $400,000, and remember, it's you and I that set the price. That's another condition of the Guaranteed Sale Program is you set the price. You are now going to deduct your guaranteed sale fee, whether that's 5% or 10%, you decide. Then you're not going to pay yourself a commission, so you deduct the commission. Now keep in mind there's also other rules to the Guaranteed Sale Program. Okay, it gets better than this because firstly, they have to move up and buy one of your listings. So let's take somebody that owns a $200,000 home and they move up and they buy one of your $400,000 listings. Now, these numbers might not be relevant to you, but it's just easy math. So take somebody who owns a $200,000 home, and they're moving up, and they're going to buy your $400,000 listing. That means you're going to make about $25,000 in commissions right there on the move up. That $25,000 you're going to get on closing. That could be your down payment. If needed, that could represent your down payment. Now, that would only happen if the $200,000 home didn't sell in 120 days for at least 170. Because that would be my guarantee. On a $200,000 home, I'm going to guarantee $170,000. Now look, I don't expect many of you to run out and start offering the Guaranteed Sale Program immediately, but eventually you're probably going to be attracted to this program because you're going to be hearing from so many of your fellow coaching members that are using it successfully, especially those members that have come through the coaching program before you, people that have been involved in the program for a number of years. Here's the thing. Once you totally understand how it works, that's going to give you the understanding part of the equation. But you also need to gain the confidence to move forward. And you're going to gain that confidence by the information we share with you and by speaking to dozens of our members who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars offering the Guaranteed Sale Program. That's going to give you what I call supreme confidence. And here's what I believe. Really, two things are necessary for you to implement the Guaranteed Sale Program. Number one, you need to know what you're doing. You need to have a good understanding of how it works. And number two, you need to have what I call supreme confidence. You need to have the confidence to act. So performance guarantees are the second platform or the second type of USP that you and I should be offering in our business. Okay, now this brings us to the third and final type of USP. These are called statistical USPs. This is something that all of you can do right now. It doesn't matter whether you're brand new in real estate. I mean, let's take somebody who's brand new in real estate. You sold maybe one home this year. You sold one listing. Maybe that one listing sold for 2% more than the real estate board average. Maybe that one listing you sold for half the market time. Well, those would be good things to talk about in your advertising, or at least in your one-on-one communications with buyers and sellers. So an easy way to set yourself apart is to take your numbers, your statistics, and compare it against MLS. Let's face it, the MLS averages are pretty pathetic. The results that the average realtor gets are pathetic. Now, when you do this research, you're not likely going to shine in all the different areas, but you're only going to talk about the stats that make you look good. So, for example, if your list-to-sales ratio was inferior to MLS, obviously you're not going to talk about that. You might want to talk about your days on the market. Or what about your success ratio? Does everyone know what that means? Your success ratio is the percentage, what percentage of the listings that you take on sell and close. So when I met with a seller, I was able to say, you know, Mr. Seller, do you know that I sold 87% of the homes that I've listed this year? That's something that I would talk about when I met with a seller, because that's an impressive statistic when you compare it to the fact that on MLS, less than 50% of the homes that are listed sell and close. Now, we can do the same thing with buyers. How would we use statistics when we're trying to attract buyers? Let's say that when you do the research, you determine that when you represent a buyer, your buyers only pay 95% of the asking price. Okay, compared to MLS, when you do the research, you realize everyone else's buyers on average are paying 97% of the asking price. Can you see how you could demonstrate to a buyer that on average, you're able to save your buyers 2% versus what other agents are negotiating for their buyers? Okay, now, the last thing I want to do before we take your questions is I want to talk about the importance of backing up all of your claims, backing up everything that you promote with some testimonials. When I'm promoting my guaranteed sale program, when I run an ad that says, your home sold in X amount of time or I'll buy it, can anyone on our webinar here guess what the biggest problem I have to overcome? It's skepticism. The number one trend in the country today is skepticism. So that's the biggest problem I have when I'm promoting the guaranteed sale program. It's skepticism. You know, people think, well, that sounds too good to be true, or, you know, what's the catch? So you and I know that in advance, that we're dealing with a very skeptical consumer. So we have to be prepared for it. We need to use testimonials to back up every claim that we make. When you start to promote your unique programs, your performance guarantees, or your statistical advantages, make sure that you back up every claim that you make with testimonials wherever possible. Now, for those of you that are fairly new in the business, you don't have many clients, I understand that you may not have testimonials. But eventually, as you know, you're involved in this system now, when you do transactions with buyers and sellers, you want to make sure that you get a testimonial wherever possible. Most real estate agents do not do this. Okay, so rule number one is get testimonials. Have a system in place to automatically get testimonials every time you work with a buyer or seller. Now, one more thing I want to mention. Make sure they're good testimonials, not what I call useless or wimpy testimonials. Let me give you an example. What does a wimpy testimonial look like? How about this? Craig was really nice to us. Or, you know, we'd really like to thank Craig for selling our home. It was a great experience. Those are wimpy, useless testimonials.
You know, Craig, really what you're talking about is that the testimonial has to encompass one or more of the three platforms that you've been talking about, one of the three platforms of USPs, either a statistical advantage, a unique service, or program that you offered and was successful, or a performance guarantee. Let me give you an example. How about this one? Because of Craig's guaranteed sale program, we were able to buy the home of our dreams. Or Craig sold our home for 98.8% of our asking price in just 9 days. Really what it is you're offering a USP, but instead of it coming out of your mouth, it's coming out of the mouth of a third party. Obviously means a whole lot more. A good testimonial is a third party promoting your USP.
Exactly. So if I'm promoting my list to sales ratio or my days on the market, I would want to use testimonials from people that say, Craig sold, something like Craig sold my home in 98% of the asking price and he sold it in a week. Or I was listed with 3 other agents for over a year and I switched to Craig Proctor and he sold it for 100% of the asking price in 48 hours. Those are the kind of testimonials you want to use. Testimonials that support the claims that you're making. Now, most real estate agents, they don't even make claims. So make a strong claim and then back your claim up. Support the claim with testimonials that have taken advantage of your USPs. They've taken advantage of these programs that you offer. Now you've got a killer marketing campaign, and people are much more likely to believe what other people have to say about you versus what you say about yourself. It's just the way it is. So if you believe that skepticism is a big problem in our society today, if you understand and accept the fact that the number one thing that you're up against is skepticism, and that the public's perception is that all real estate agents are exactly the same, if you understand that, if you now know exactly what to do to solve that problem. And you understand now how to set yourself apart from the crowd. So let's do this. Let's take some of your questions and let's try to keep the questions pertaining to what we've discussed on our webinar here today on how you should be selecting your target market and your unique selling proposition. Andrea, over to you.
Yes, sir. You can ask your questions in 2 ways. One by audio if you're on the phone or if you have a computer mic, or you can type your question in the chat box, which we already have several parties who have done so.
Okay, let's start with a couple of chat questions here then. The first question is from Nick and Joe. Regarding the guaranteed sale program, how would you answer the potential seller if they ask you how many homes you've had to buy so far? Well, Nick and Joe, I would smile at the seller and I would say, well, fortunately, I've sold all the properties that I've guaranteed before I had to buy them. That would be a good thing, right? And that was the truth over a 20-year period, except for in 2 cases very early in my career when I made a couple mistakes, and I'm sharing with you all how to avoid those mistakes. So that would be the answer, is how many homes have you had to sell? Well, fortunately, I do such a great job, I haven't had to buy any of them. Christian's asking about move-up buyers. What guarantee should I use? So look, let's do this, Andrea. Give me control of the webinar here. I'm going to take everyone to the coaching site and make sure they all understand how to use the ad generator. Okay, so this is important, everyone. So I see some of you, by the way, we can tell whether you're attentive or not. Do you know that? I can actually tell whether you have the screen up and you're watching what I'm showing you, or whether you're on eBay or Amazon or checking your emails. So, you know, not everyone's, they're listening, but they're not all watching. So you want to watch this. So we're going to go to Tools. Can you see this, Andrea, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to go down to Ad Generator, and we click on Ad Generator. Now, here are the 3 types of ads that you're going to be running in this program. They're either classified ads, and classified ads, by the way, it doesn't necessarily mean ads that you're going to run in a newspaper. A classified ad could be an ad on Facebook or Google pay-per-click. Okay, so classified is just it's a type of ad. It that's not the medium. It can be run in any medium. And then we've got editorial ads that can be run online and offline. But today, what we're talking about is USP ads. So you can target either buyers or sellers. Okay, so our question here today was about how do I decide which campaign I'm going to offer if I want to attract buyers. So let's click on buyers here for a minute. And we've got 3 examples of USPs that you could use to target buyers. So if you want to look at the message, you just click on Generate Ad, and the ad appears. Okay, everybody sees the ad here. Now, you can customize this as a template. Okay, so let's say that I'm selling expensive homes, then these numbers might not work. So right now it says $5,000 savings on your home purchase guaranteed, or I'll pay you $500. Now, if I'm working in downtown Toronto and I'm selling $2 million homes, my buyer's not going to be too excited about saving $5,000. So all I need to do is go to the field here that says 5,000, and I could change that to 10,000 or whatever I wanted, and probably a $500 penalty or $500 off your commission, probably not a big deal to somebody that's buying a $2 million home, so we could change that to $2,000. Okay, so that's how the template works. Okay, and the idea again is a total stranger would call you, somebody that normally otherwise wouldn't call you, even if they just want to challenge you on, well, how does this program work? Okay, so that's one USP, one example that you could offer to buyers. Let's go back and look at this next one. Okay, how about this one? Buy any one of our listings, and if you're not satisfied within 18 months, we'll sell it for free. So in this case, they have to move up and buy another one of your listings, and you just would waive your listing portion. Okay, they'd still be responsible for the buyer portion, so you're never, going in the hole. You're never losing money on this because they have to move up and buy another one of your listings. So they've got 18 months to, satisfy themselves that they love the home you sold them. If not, they can trade this home in for any one of your listings. And then we've got another guarantee here. This one's a little bit stronger because in this situation, if you're not happy within 18 months, we'll actually buy it back. So that's just the guaranteed sale program flipped around to benefit buyers, not sellers. And by the way, you've got everything that you need here, okay? You've got the special report that's being offered, the hotline script, and the landing page. Okay, so if we take a look at the ad, there's the ad. Okay, well, we need to drive them to a landing page and an 800 number because we're offering a free report on how the program works. So you might be saying, well, gee, where do I get the script? Where do I get the landing page? Where do I get the free report? Well, it's all right here for you. Okay, so here's the free special report. Oops, shouldn't have done that. That's the free special report. And how do I get out of this here now? I think I do this, right? Nope. Okay, now I'm in trouble. Okay, so I did something bad there. Okay, so we've got to go back to the coaching site here again. And we've got to log in here. Okay, so back to the ad generator. My apologies. And back to USP ads. And back to buyers. So I downloaded the report, and the hotline script is right here. And then this is the landing page that I'm going to go to. Okay, now this would be your landing page, but this gives you an example of what landing page you should be going to on your branded site. So another question that I was asked here in the chat was, well, when we're promoting our USP with the ads and the landing pages, do we have our picture on it? Well, of course, because this is different than less branded advertising. We're trying to associate this very powerful and positive benefit to our identity. Okay, so you'll notice when we look at the ad, It's always going to have your picture on. The landing page would have your picture. Everything will be branded with a branded advertising approach. Okay, so now let's have a look at ads targeting sellers. Okay, so we're just going to click on sellers, and we've got a whole bunch of different ads. Now remember, we've tried to do as much as we possibly can here for you. So I hope you guys appreciate how much work has been put into this to make it super easy for you to copy exactly what I was doing, what our top members are doing. So how about this one? Your home sold in X amount of days, or I'll pay you X amount. So here's the ad. Okay, it'll have your picture on. Now these are just examples. You know, you can choose to use or not use whatever you like. So let's say I'm in a market where homes are selling quickly. 120 days wouldn't sound that meaningful to a seller. So I might want to change that to 30 days. Okay, maybe $1,000 is too much money. I could change that to 500. Okay, now the other things you guys get caught up on as well. Craig, there's no name on the ad, there's no company name. Well, of course you have to have that, but because it's different depending on what state or province you're in, you have to customize it. You're going to be responsible for knowing your own rules. Okay, so for me in Ontario, this is the disclaimer I had to have. So it would say Craig Proctor, and then I had to say sales rep, and then I had to have my company name. Okay, so like that. Now, if I'm in California, I also have to have my license number. Okay, so you guys are going to need to know, you know, what your rules are depending on where you operate. But this is pretty cool, right? This just auto-populates all your information in here. Okay, so let's have a look at another example, and then we'll take some more questions. So how about this one? Your home sold in X amount of days, or I'll sell it for free. Okay, or your home sold, how about this one here? Your home sold for 100% of your asking price, or I'll pay you the difference. And we're offering a free report on how this program works. Why do we offer a free report? Why do we give the prospects so many different ways to reach us? Well, arguably, you know, the best prospects would just, you know, call us at on our direct number. That would be fantastic, right? But wouldn't you agree there's a lot more prospects in your marketplace that are not quite ready to speak to a real estate agent? They might be weeks or months out. Well, you're going to generate those leads as well because you're offering a free report on how the program works. That's what they want to know, right? How does this work? What's the catch? Well, they don't have to talk to a real estate salesperson. They can enter the domain name, and you're going to register a domain name. So my domain name might be, for this, it might be, I don't know, Craig's 100% offer. Okay, so it's really easy for you guys to make this work. Let's look at a couple more examples. Your home sold, or I'll buy it. Again, you can play with the days. Move up to this home and I'll buy your home for cash. Okay, so you're going to add all your disclaimers. You're going to add your unique domain name for tracking purposes. And remember, if you're unsure what landing page that you should be going to, well, we give you that too. So you go right here, you click on this. So this will show my landing page. But you want to go to the same landing page, but it'll have a picture of you and your name. Okay, so this is pretty complete. We're giving you everything that you really need to succeed with these USPs. We're giving you the ad. We're giving you, okay, a lot of you are asking, well, what about the rules? What about the certificate? How do I explain? There it is right there. These are the rules. These are my rules. Now, you don't have to be enslaved by my rules. Okay, again, we've got editable regions. Okay, so I guarantee 5% of market value. Well, if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can change yours to 10%. Okay, Okay, maybe you want a 4-month listing signed. Maybe you want a 5-month listing signed. Okay, so this is going to be 120 days. And I want them to sign at least, obviously, a 120-day listing. Okay, so I'd like you guys to spend some time looking at the ad generator. Now, of course, those are just the USP ads. If we go back to the ad generator, we've got, well, all the editorial ads, right? If I want buyers or sellers, we check on sellers here. And here are the editorial ads. Okay, now it says, which of these costly home seller mistakes we make when you sell your new market home? Well, if I'm not in new market, I might be in Toronto. Okay, and it changes it here, and we've got to change it right here as well. Everybody get this? It's that easy. Okay, then we've also got our classified ads. So those are the editorial ads, and then we've got our classified ads. So let's say we want a classified ad for buyers. And we talked today about targeting first-time buyers. So let's have a look at what ads. Well, we could run the renters campaign. That would be a good ad to target buyers. The distress sale campaign would be a good ad to target first-time buyers, or the first-time buyer ad. So up comes the ad. Okay, and by the way, the $1,300 a month, that should be the average rent in your marketplace. Okay, so if you're in downtown Toronto and the average rent is $2,500, then it's going to say $2,500 a month. Here's the idea. So a buyer's, you know, looking online or offline, and maybe I even run this ad under homes for rent. So you can imagine somebody that's renting a home, and they come upon this, your ad here. It says, why rent when you can own? Free list of pictures of homes available for under $2,400 a month. And if I'm in downtown Toronto, I'm already paying $2,400 a month or more. I might be thinking, yeah, why am I renting? You know, I'm already paying that. I can get a list of homes. And now, can we help all these buyers buy? No. Some of them have credit issues or whatever. But the idea is there are buyers that are renting right now only because they don't believe they can buy. So that's an opportunity for us, right? We're looking for buyers that are people that are renting that don't believe they can afford to buy, who really can. And that's why this is a great campaign. A lot of buyers that I did business with that were renting and we helped them buy, they had really good incomes, they had good credit history, but they had this perception that they had to have this massive down payment. That's what they believed, right? And that's the way it was for generations, right? You had to have 25% down, and a lot of people still believe that today. So I want to make sure that all of you recognize the awesome resources that we have on the coaching site. You really should spend some time. A lot of the questions that you guys are asking, it's pretty clear to me that because you're asking these questions, you just haven't spent any time actually looking at the resources that we have. So let's take some questions, Andrea. Do you want to take chat questions, or you want to go to some audio questions?
Well, we do have a few hands raised, so let's go ahead and take a couple of those as long as the mics are working. We have Lisa Nash with a raised hand. Your mic is now open. Lisa, you just muted yourself. Okay, I think we'll go on to Sean Johnston. Your mic is now open. Sean?
Well, it does take us a while to train you folks on how to use the webinar, so this isn't too surprising. It'll take us a couple sessions to make sure everyone understands that they need a working microphone and you can't be muted, etc.
Okay, we have one more, so let's go ahead and give it a try, and then we'll move on to our chat questions. Ray Amadi, please go ahead. You raised your hand. Okay, no luck. Okay, and just to let everyone know, we do have the telephone option. You receive a phone number and a PIN code in your email when you get your personal ID to log on, and you can always dial in on the telephone, and that's something I recommend for tomorrow's first role play session with James. The telephone is always the best way to role play, the best quality when we're reviewing the script. And I know that was one of the questions we had Craig from Mitzi. It says, when you're dealing with sellers who are early in on the process, the universal script is good for the initial call, but what do you do to keep in touch?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about every Thursday. We're going to talk about, well, what do you say on the second call, the third call, all the subsequent contacts, and what are you sending these prospects? You see, we have to understand that the Achilles heel is follow-up. Most real estate agents do not have a follow-up system. Well, we could back up the bus a bit, and we could all agree that most real estate agents don't have an automatic lead generation system, let alone a follow-up system. So most of the buyers and sellers that you speak to and that you are ever going to speak to, as long as you're in real estate, most of them, if you really think about it, they represent future prospects. Think of all the years you've been in real estate, and if you're new in real estate, just trust us on this. Most of the people you do come into contact are not ready to buy and sell now. They say to you, I'm ready to buy or sell in a couple weeks, a couple months. So that doesn't make them bad buyers or sellers. It just means they're not ready quite yet. Now, of course, for the prospects that are ready to buy or sell right now, that's easy. We don't need a follow-up system for the guy that calls you and says, hey, I'm ready to list my house, come and get me. So we're going to talk about all the things that you need to do to have a really, really good follow-up system, including follow-up emails, including a prospect newsletter, including the gold plan mailings, including voice broadcasting, including rules like calling them back in half the time they indicate. And what do we say on that second call? Well, it's pretty easy. We're basically using the universal callback script again with a slightly different intro. Andrea, if I talked to you a couple months ago and I'm calling you back today, I would simply say, hi, Andrea. It's Craig here at the ABC Realty. I talked to you a couple months ago, and I wondered if you folks still had any more moving plans. And I go right through those questions, those probing questions in the universal callback script.
Okay, Lisa was able to type her question since she did not have a working mic. It says, if I don't have a listing right now and I want to run an ad on Kijiji, can you show me an example of what you would run for the move-up home buyer? And just so you know, when you're doing that, she currently has the sites but not the toll-free hotline.
Okay. Look, we can't cover everything today, including the follow-up and all the ads. Today was about USP ads and showing you the ad generator, but this is what we're going to do every Friday. Okay, every Friday we're going to show you what the ad should actually look like. So here's what an ad that's successfully run on Kijiji looks like, and here are the results that the member got. Here's an ad that ran on Facebook. Here's what they cost. Here are the results that they actually got. So you're going to be able to speak to other members that are successfully doing this. You see, you folks from the Toronto Super Conference are going to be mixed in with other existing coaching members tomorrow on the role play call and on Friday on the ad clinic. Okay, today is only people that just started with the coaching program. Okay, because obviously what we're saying to you, the others have heard before. So you're going to have the benefit of seeing the actual ads that our successful members are using. But really all we're doing is we're taking these same messages and with very slight customization, using them in different mediums. And of course the obvious question is well, what are the best ads and where are the best places to run them? So you're going to determine that for you, right? You're going to test the different ads. Remember, we're using a unique domain name, and the hotline provides us with 1,000 4-digit ID numbers. So every time you run an ad, you're going to know how much the ad cost. Of course, you'll know where you ran it, but most importantly, you'll know the results that you got. So you're going to test the different ads in different places, and in a couple weeks, guess what you're going to know? You're going to know the answers as to which ads work the best and where they work the best. So the ad, the message, and where to run it. And then it's just do the same stuff that works over and over and over again.
I'll add, one of the things James went over in the orientation webinar was how important contact with your coach is. And these are some of the questions. If you can't wait for the ad clinic, you can always email your coach and talk to them about that. You have 24-hour access to email with your coaches, and they're here to help you with questions if you just can't wait for the role play or the ad clinics to come. Okay, let's see.
Right.
We have lots of
Jose's
different
asking,
questions. Yeah.
Jose is asking this question. Jose says, in my marketplace, if I want to target first-time buyers, what can I do to attract just the great leads rather than people who don't meet financing guidelines? Well, one of the things that you could do is you could have some kind of qualifier either in the ad or in the hotline script or on the landing page. So I could offer a free list of homes from, I don't know, $700,000 and above. Okay, I could say on the landing page in the hotline script that report number 1 is for people that have a combined family income of X amount, and you decide what that'll be, and who have good credit history and good job stability. They ask for report number 1. Those would be the ones you call back. So that's the idea with the words in the ad and the words on the hotline script in the landing page. They can be chosen to suit your needs. You see, the robots, the website and the hotline are supposed to not only answer all of the prospect inquiries, but enable you to sift and sort so you know who the best, most qualified buyers and sellers are. And those are the ones you're going to call back first. All right, let me just look at some of these other questions. Okay, Mark is asking this. With each of these guarantees, there's always the need to go over the details of the program, how they are paid, disclaimers, legal stuff. Do you have the details of that, as most people would want the details? Well, yes, that's what I just showed you. You have the certificates. This is the paperwork that your prospect's going to sign off on. Okay, so they're not coming back to you after the fact saying, well, I didn't understand it. So everything's in writing. It's all explained. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to be enslaved by my rules. I'm just giving you this as a template. So Mark, you can add things, you can change things, and I have made many of the fields changeable. So you can go in there and you can sort of customize this for your own use. Are there any more audio questions at this point?
We have no hands raised for audio questions.
Okay, Jim is asking this. In Toronto, what is the resource to find bank foreclosures and distress sales? Well, Jim, all you have to do is what I would do, and this is what I did do, I would check the hot sheets every day, and if there's any bank-owned properties, it'll tell you, name of the seller, bank-owned. I would just photocopy them and have them in a file folder. Now, there's going to be times when you run the distress sale ad or the bank foreclosure ad where when the prospect calls in and they say, I want North York and I want this price range and I want a 4-bedroom with a walkout basement, and you do the search and there's just nothing available that's a foreclosure property. So here's what I would do. Okay, so Andrea, you're going to be my prospect. I'd say, hi, Andrea. It's Craig Proctor with ABC Realty, and I was calling because I received your request for the foreclosure properties in North York. Just wanted to let you know right now there are no bank foreclosures that match your criteria, but I was wondering if you might be interested in other properties in North York that do match your criteria that represent good deals, although they're not bank foreclosures. Would you be interested in getting information on other great deals that aren't bank foreclosures? And the answer is always yes. Okay, but if you didn't run the ad, the prospect wouldn't have called you in the first place. See, we have to understand this, that all I'm suggesting you do is replace what you've been doing for years, which is running ads promoting what you have. Okay, a very narrow, tiny offer, right? You're running an ad promoting a listing that you have. Instead of doing that, okay, instead of offering what very few people want, I want you to replace that ad with an offer that has universal appeal. I want you to offer something that everybody wants. Makes sense, right? And when you do that, you generate a lot of leads. Okay, so that's what good marketing does. Good marketing addresses what it is that buyers and sellers really want. We're focusing with my approach on calling out to who you most want to attract versus trying to sell what you have. All right, any other audio questions at this point?
We do have a hand that was raised. Mario Daniel Sconza, your mic is now open.
Thank you,
Mario, how you doing?
Amazingly well. Yourself?
Good, good.
Thank you so much for everything. This website, especially, it's second to none. It's really amazing. Question is, on the display ad that you were showing earlier, on the left-hand side was your information, the realtor information. Is there a reason why that should go on the left-hand side as opposed to perhaps in mice type at the bottom of the ad?
Well, okay, what you're referring to, Mario, is you're referring to a branded ad. Okay, so with the ad that's on the screen right now, the first-time buyer ad, let me just go back there. With this first-time buyer ad, we're not trying to brand this. I don't want people to even know this is coming from a real estate agent. But here in Ontario, you and I are mandated that we have to have a certain disclaimer, right? And the rule says that we have to have our name, our designation, sales rep, broker, and the name of the company that we work for. Okay, the rule also says that your name can't be bigger or more dominant than your company name. Okay, so we're going to have all of this down here on this ad. Okay, so it's going to say Mario, how do I spell your last name?
C-O-N.
Sconza. Like that?
Yep.
Okay, and what, you with Remax?
Yes.
Okay. Which Remax?
Premier.
Premier, okay. See, I'm even going to do the ad for you. How's that for service?
I appreciate
Okay, now are you a broker or a sales rep?
Broker.
You're a broker, okay. So guess what yours is going to say? Yours is going to say broker. Okay, look, there you go. Now you comply with RICO. Right?
Understood, yes.
Sales rep, okay, Mario Sconza. Well, it actually probably should say broker and then Remax Premier. Okay, so when you're running a less branded ad, we're not trying to associate this with you, right? Because we know that buyers and sellers don't want to speak to a real estate agent. When they're in the information gathering process, when they're starting to think about buying or selling real estate, they just want to gather information. So there is an argument for this. Now, where are you located, Mario?
Vaughan.
Okay, you're in Vaughan, and you've been doing this for a long time. So we know there's people in Vaughan that know you and love you, and you've built goodwill in the area. So there's two types of advertising we're going to do. We're going to do this less branded advertising for you, because even though there's people that know you and love you in Vaughan, guess what? There's a whole bunch of people in Vaughan that don't only not want to talk to you, they don't want to talk to any real estate agent. So you're going to run an ad like that, or you might run one of these editorial looking ads. So if we go to an editorial ad, okay, I know you're a big lister, right? So let's find an ad that, well, let's just pull this one up here. Okay, so let's make this ad for you. So we're going to take out new market, and we're going to put in Vaughan. I spelled that right, correct? Is that right?
Looks like it. I don't have my glasses on, but close.
Okay, well, neither do I, so that's two of us. Okay. All right. Okay, so there, the ad's perfect for you. Now you got to have your disclaimer, so we do the same disclaimer at the bottom. Okay, so it's going to be Mario Sconza This time we'll do it right. Broker, your designation goes first. And then it's RE/MAX Premier. Okay, so there you go. The ad is perfect for you.
Craig, thank you. This particular ad, can we actually send it to the newspaper from this platform, or is that save and?
Yeah, I think there's a. How do Andrea? You'll know how to do that. How do we get the ad from here to wherever they want to send the ad, online or offline?
I believe once you hit the Generate Ad button, it saves in a PDF to your computer, and then you can send it to who it needs to go to.
All right, there's your answer. Okay, so Mario, your first question, let's address that. These USP ads, you're saying, well, you know, should my name be on that? Well, of course it should be. So if we're going to do, which USP do you want to offer? You probably want to do the guaranteed sale of some kind, right?
I do, guaranteed sale.
Okay, so your home sold, we'll do this one here. Okay, so we want your name here. Okay, we want to associate this great big massive benefit with Mario Sconza. We want people in Vaughan to, every time they think of real estate, they don't just think of Mario, they think he's the guy that if he doesn't sell my home, he'll buy it. We're not trying to disguise or fly underneath the consumer's advertising radar here. We're trying to fly right in their face. And this is different, you see, than image style advertising. Okay, the image style advertising that I showed you guys in Toronto, you know, the ads I ran, you know, I'm number one. We've all run those ads before. And what we're led to believe, falsely what we're led to believe, that if we create an awareness, right, so if everyone in Vaughan knows who you are, or everyone in Newmarket knows who Craig is, well, everyone's going to call. Well, we know that's not true because we've had friends, family members, people we knew quite well list with someone else. So marketing and advertising has to be more than just creating an awareness. That's what USP advertising does. It associates this very powerful, okay, benefit, intangible benefit with your identity. So people in Vaughan just don't know who you are. They associate this powerful, tangible benefit to you. Mario, oh, he's the guy that'll buy your home if it doesn't sell. That's the difference.
Understood. I appreciate that clarification. I understand better now. Thank you.
All right, Mario, go get him, man. Get these ads running. I want to see your name all over Vaughan. I love it when our members go out there and become super successful, and it drives your competitors crazy. They can't figure it out. They'll get upset. They'll start complaining to the broker and the real estate association. Of course, you're not doing anything wrong, but look at this is what happens when you become successful. There's some people in your marketplace that are not going to like it. You know, so you got to be okay with that. It comes with the territory. If you want to be a pioneer, you're going to get some arrows in your back. Okay, here's Nick and Joe here again. Hi, Craig. Where is the buyer certificate for if you don't like the home, you buy it before 18 months or sell it for free? Okay, so I don't know if we addressed this one, but let's do this again. Okay, so everybody can do this. You go to Tools. You click on Ad Generator. Okay, and this is a USP ad that Nick and Joe are asking about. And then we want to click on Buyers. And the second one right here, that's the one you're looking for, right? Your home sold, or sorry, you're satisfied with your home within 18 months, or we'll sell it for free. Okay, so that's where you're going to find that. Phil's asking, what time does this call end? Look, they're usually, you know, done in 90 minutes. I know this is our second session, so we're going a little longer. Look, I know some of you have to go, but I do like to stay and try to answer all the questions. We're going to, I promise though, folks, we'll wrap this up in the next few minutes. Okay, Mitzi's asking this. What is the real estate site that has all the statistics? Leon Dancona talked about that at the super conference. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take you there now. You go to Real Estate Statistics. Okay, why is that not working? Did I not type that in right? Let's see here. Real estate statistics. I must have spelled that wrong. Let me try something else here. How about right here? There it is, folks. Okay, so remember my demo site? So if you go to realestatestatistics.com, you can contact the company. They'll verify that you're a coaching member in good standing, and you'll get the special price that we offer only for coaching members. So remember at the Super Conference I did this. I took us to all the cities in TREB. So we can go to city, and all the different cities will come up, so in alphabetical order. So if I want to target Brampton, I know there's 9,477 homes that have sold in the last 12 months. If I want to do Aurora, there were 1,109. There's the volume, list to sales ratio, average price, median price, days in the market. 375 of the 1,109 homes sold for 100% or more. Okay, and remember, we use this also for turnover. If I want to send, so if I choose Aurora, add to search, and I want to send out postcards to Aurora, I want the highest turnover streets. Okay, so in Aurora, 30%, exactly 30% of the sales are done in 8.3% of the streets. So I can reach 30% of the sellers and ignore really 92% of the streets, just focus on 8% of the streets. Okay, so you guys are really going to like this, and we'll show you how to use this and get more into that as we move through the program. But folks, we are running out of time, so I'm sensitive to the fact that some of you need to go and sell some real estate now. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about what to do with the leads, as we do every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so we're going to introduce you to the universal callback script, how you introduce yourself, the offers that you should be making to buyers and sellers once you've qualified them. Okay, we'll talk about these very important qualifying questions. We'll talk to you about, here's some of the things we'll talk about. How do you get people to answer the phone? What do you say to them? What if, you know, the wife requested the information and the husband answered? We're going to show you how to handle the major objections. Here's the question. There's only about 8 or 9 major objections. If you knew how to handle those objections, would you have more confidence on the phone, yes or no? And of course the answer is yes. So this is the total system, not only how to generate the leads, but we're going to show you tomorrow what to do with the leads. And then Friday at 11 a.m., we're going to look at some ads that our top members are using, so you actually get to see the ads. And we're going to have you folks submit ads. I know, Andrew, are we doing that this Friday, or we're going to wait a week?
I believe
submit their ads?
We're going to wait a week. We're going to wait a week, and
okay.
We'll look at some ads,
well, the
but nothing
reason
submitted.
is if we get you guys to submit, if we get you to submit your ads right now, many of them will be incorrect. So we'll be looking at ads that are from new members that are running them incorrectly. So we're going to start by showing you ads run correctly, and then every week after that, you'll have the opportunity to upload your ads. So I think it's appropriate that on the first ad clinic, we have a look at ads that are running properly, and then from that point forward, you'll be able to get yours critiqued as well. So anyway, we're out of time. I hope you enjoyed coaching session 2 as much as I did, and thank you very much, Andrea, for all your hard work. But please do check out all the resources at craigproctorcoaching.com. I think if you spend some time on the site, you're going to be rather impressed with everything that's there for you, and a lot of your questions will get answered. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you then. That concludes today's webinar.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a wonderful afternoon. Talk to you all on tomorrow's Role Play Clinic.